Well, hello there. I'm Mr. Polk, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm working on finishing up some Spritz cookies here, and I already started mixing them because everything we've been working on, you understand the creaming method and how to make the cookies. This started out with 8 ounces of unsalted butter, 4 ounces of sugar, quarter teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of vanilla, 1 whole egg, and 10 ounces of cake flour. And pretty much same method we always did. Mix the sugar and the fat, then add the eggs, and then gently add the flour. Now this dough is nice and soft, kind of like the Linzer before we started. But what we're going to do is, this is a third type of cookie. This is going to be a pressed cookie. So what we're going to do is take a pastry bag, and we're going to open it up, cup it. And some people make these in a cookie press. I like making them this way. And you're going to just put the tip into the bag, make sure it doesn't cut the bag, and you sort of look at, okay, where's it going to go when I push it through? And then take your scissors and cut. Always important to throw away this little piece, okay, so it doesn't get caught in anything. And then now you're ready to fill the bag. And this is the way I like to do it. I like to open it up like this, and I make like a little monster, a little wonga, wonga, wonga. And what happens is I scoop the dough in, like this. It goes into the monster, and the monster goes, home, and he eats it. And this is then you use that to clear off your spatula. Now the nice thing is I'm using a large bag so that you can fill this up and get all this in here. So there we go. And then push all this down. And then for the next step, what I like to do is take a look at how to pipe these. So when you pipe these, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. And the one thing I want to show you is if you take the pastry bag, you don't have to be a hero and squeeze it right from the end. What I like to do is I like to fill it up so it stays clean, but then I start in the middle, and it's important that when I start in the middle, I still twist, okay? So I start in the middle and twist, and then I like to use this part of my hand. One of the things I watch is, I don't know where people learn this, but they like to pipe like this, like it's a fire hose, like you're putting out a fire. No, you're using this part of your hand to wrap around the bag and give it a squeeze. And you're using all of the power from your hand to work the dough out. There's a couple things you can do. I have a little template here, and I'll have this online that you can get. This gives you the size of the cookie. The traditional cookie that we make for a Spritz looks like a wreath. And the way we do that is we start in the center, hold our bag straight, and we go around to the edge of the template, and then when we're done, we just sort of tuck the cookie right back into itself. Okay? So we go around the center, and then just kind of tuck the tail right into itself. But you always want to start in the center because you're trying to give yourself a little spot to put some jelly. Okay? Now, as I start to run out of the dough, push a little bit of it back down. Alright? Do a couple more of those. Just like that. Now, another cookie that people like to make is they like to make a shell. And for the shell, you're just going to start here, squeeze and pull. So the bag's at like a 45. I squeeze and I pull. And this is going to make a shell. It looks kind of like a Madeleine, but it's not. It's a Spritz with a nice squeeze and pull. Some people like to do the ones like this, but keep them a little smaller, and they won't put jelly in the center. So you can just sort of go kind of right around itself, just a little rosette cookie. Okay, look at that, just a little rosette right around and pull up. Just go right around and pull up. And then the other thing is, what you can make is if you want to make a real simple cookie, you just simply have to take the piping bag, hold it maybe a quarter inch above your product, and you just squeeze and then pull up, and it just makes a little star. Okay, so just squeeze and pull up. And this honestly mimics, if you have a cookie press, the way that works. So one of the ways that you can finish these, if you could take some jelly, it's best to use a big stable jelly, but you can also use a regular jelly. Put it in a bag and just squeeze a little bit in the center. This is a raspberry, and I'm squeezing it in the middle so it sort of stays in there. It's not about making this filled like a jelly donut. It's really just a decorative piece. And then we can use some sprinkles if we want. I have some gold. These are like a gold sprinkle, a metallic. We'll put those on the star, so it's like a gold star. And then if you wanted to, on the shells, you can just use white. This is just a clear white sanding sugar. Just put some sanding sugar on there. That'll make them really fancy. See, the nice thing is you use that wide tip, and if you don't have a tip, you could just use a bag and cut a hole in the bottom. But we're going to lay those in there, get some really nice color, and then we'll put some white sugar on those. Okay. So now these guys are ready for the oven. We're going to put these in 375 for a good 10 to 12 minutes because these need to take a while to get that nice golden brown on the edges. So let's get these in the oven for some loving. Okay, so let's check out the oven cam. These cookies are looking good. They're almost there. Okay, you can see that. I'm going to rotate them first. See the jelly stayed in the center. Starting to get some really nice color to them. What you're going to have to watch is sometimes when you're baking cookies like here, they're different sizes. The smaller ones are going to be getting very close to being done, and then the larger ones are going to need a little bit longer. But you can see how they puff out a little bit, all right? But that's about it. They're pretty much going to hold their shape. They just get a little bit of a puff to them, and you can see the ones in the middle that have the sugar on are going to have a really great look to them. Okay, let's check out the oven cam. So we're going to open up our oven. Oh, these look nice. Check this out. This is what we're looking for. A touch of the golden brown on the edges. They puff up, but yet they hold their shape. If you make the dough too stiff, they don't really puff and they get kind of hard. If you make the dough too loose, they just sort of fluff out. So these guys are ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out of the oven. And we are going to get ready to finish them up. Okay, now that the cookies have come out of the oven and they've cooled, we're now ready to plate. There's really not much you have to do to the ones with the jelly and the ones with the little star sprinkles. But these guys, if you want to dress them up, I just melted some chocolate, put it in a small pastry bag. You can even use a Ziploc bag. I'm going to show you a trick, and that is when you do your stripes, go really fast back and forth, okay, and kind of go on an angle. And you want to go longer than the cookie itself, and that's going to make them look really nice. When you do these little streaks on here, you want them to look nice and thin and nice and straight. Okay? And once you do that, there you have your cookies. And you can take these. These are really nice to put on a little display, on a tray. These are great for having tea and coffee. So you can mix them up here. Maybe we want to do the little stars. We can do 3. We can do some of these. And then these we got to watch because they have to set. But we can put them on there as long as we're careful. We can do the ones with the chocolate. Okay, looks great. Okay, there we go. So there you can see how you can make some really nice cookies, and you can use the fancy cookie press. You can use what I showed you, the pastry bag of piping them, or you can even, just put this cookie dough batter, the Spritz batter in like a Ziploc bag, put a hole in the end, and try and make some shapes. You can just kind of have fun with it. Okay, so there you can see a lot of different things you can do with the cookies in a lot of different ways. You can dress them up, and you can do it with colored sprinkles as well. So I'd like to thank you for cooking with me today. And I can't wait to cook with you next time right here in Mr. Polk's Kitchen.